Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today is a get ready with me chatting about new products that I encountered. Mainly it will be a review of the new Dominique Cosmetics Latte Palette. I like Christian Dominique. I think that the Latte Palette, I'll go over details later on in the video, is a great selection of color. It is warm. It has some punches of colors in here. I've applied it for the last 2 days and I'm happy to report that I've really been enjoying this palette. For the demo, you can skip over to this time. For my thoughts and review on the palette, you can skip over to this time. I'll have it start as a get ready with me. We'll apply some eyeshadow, we'll talk about the makeup, and yeah, we'll take it from there. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I know you still might be thinking about it, but I promise you it'll be well worth your while. And without further ado, let's get into this get ready with me. For all time's sake, I'm applying Fenty Beauty primer because it's been a while and why not? I finally uploaded my skincare routine both day and night. I will post that link up above and down below. It's very long, I'm just gonna warn you, but I go over all my steps as to why I have those steps in the routine and why I use the products that I do. At this point, I would have liked to already have my healthy foundation from Physicians Formula up, as well as my review on the Maybelline Superstay. And my current foundation that I'm using today is the MAC Pro Longwear, which I haven't used since I felt I entered the makeup game very late in comparison to the rest of the world. And at that time, there were a lot of different foundations that were launching, and my interests, of course, gravitated towards those new products, and I didn't try like the old G's at the time. And I wanted to solidify the fact that I am indeed NC42. I knew it was NC42 in the Pro Longwear Compact Powder Foundation, but I wasn't sure if I would be the same in the liquid formula. I am in fact NC42 in both powder and liquid. Especially because I try on a lot of foundations on this channel, I wanted to give you guys a reference if you are anywhere near NC42, if just to give you, or for you to have a better idea of the shade matching. I tried it on yesterday. I like the coverage. I think it's medium to full, but I want to mix it with my Hourglass sticks. I'm going in with honey and warm honey. Honey mostly to the center of my face. And then some warm honey on the outside perimeters. Now with the Pro Longwear, I'll take just one pump. I'll dab that all over. Interesting, the Pro Longwear takes on a more yellow hue in comparison to the honey and warm honey from the Vanish stick. Going in with my new favorite foundation brush. I have been using this non-stop ever since my Goss Anniversary Set 2 review. I just find it to be a highly effective buffing brush. It just blows me away every time I use it. After buffing that out, I like to go in with a beauty sponge to pick up any excess foundation to refine the texture. Why not? I don't think I've used the Urban Decay All-Nighter Waterproof yet on camera. This is in the shade Medium. I'm going to apply that to my under eyes. It might be a little too dry for my under eye area, but just so you guys can see the coverage. I'm not putting it so much in towards my lash line because that part of my under eye area can be very dry, and this I feel is not dry skin friendly. Giving my beauty sponge a spritz, and we're going to blend that out. This formula dries very quickly. If you're one of those makeup enthusiasts who love to allow their concealer to sit, I wouldn't let this sit too long. It will dry down, as I said, very quickly, and it will be very tough to blend out into the skin. I love the medium shade in this formula, and I do have to just make sure I blend it well because it is a drier formula. Perhaps that's due to its all-nighter label it's supposed to be, since it's supposed to last all night. Why not using Patrick's powder in collaboration with MACxPatrick, using that to set the under eye. In terms of the rest of my face, I've been playing with jumping from my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Compact where'd she go? Which is in my other bag in the bathroom. It's fine. Then jumping into my Makeup Forever Pro Finish pans that I sometimes use to set my foundation with. I discovered that applying that over the Superstay is a little too much. But if I'm dealing with a liquid foundation that's medium coverage, then I can then apply the Pro Finish for additional coverage without the cakiness. I will go in with shade 168 from Makeup Forever. We'll apply that to the rest of my face using a fluffier brush so it doesn't lay down as much product if I were to say use a kabuki brush. It gives me a little color, which is fine. Really loving this brush. Is from the It's My Ray Ray BH Cosmetics collab. It's very fluffy, it's slightly tapered, and I think it just makes for nice all over powdering as well as bronzing. Texture doesn't look too bad, it doesn't look cakey, still looks like skin. It's a good sign. Quickly, I'll go off camera to apply my brows and I'll be right back. Brows are on, and now let's get into the Latte palette. This retails, I believe, for $45. It's expensive for a new brand and a first product, I understand. I went into it knowing that, and I decided to still purchase it anyway. The expiration date on here is 12 months from opening. For how much product you get, it says 10 times 1.8 grams, so 10.8 grams. Yes, okay. I'm not sure how different this formula is from other eyeshadow ones. From what I've been experiencing, I like the formula. It comes in this rose gold sleeve that takes on a touch of copper as well, and when you slip it off, you get the actual palette. It has a really beautiful geometric design. It says Dominique Latte Palette on the front. When you flip it open, you have the mirror, and then you have Z shades. Each shade is embossed with her logo, DC, Dominique Cosmetic. This palette comes with 7 mattes and 3 foil shades. This one shade is said to mimic the shade, the color of the sleeve. And these 2 shades they have a little bit of more sparkle in them. I already applied this shade, and I applied all 3 foil shades, and they are gorgeous. I'll be more detailed in the review portion of this video. Right now, let's just get into applying. You already know what we're using. The rest of my eyeshadow brushes are in trouble. Again, using these non-stop ever since I received them in the mail, and it has been life-changing. Today I ordered the number 16. For those who suggested that I look into it, thank you so much for the recommendation. I couldn't know where to get it. The only shade that I didn't use extensively is this turquoise shade. I used the purple shade yesterday, and I made a really nice warm look the day before. Now I think I'll predominantly will use cold brew on the lid in some way, but we'll first go in with caramel. I'm first gonna set I already applied some, but that's okay. I'm gonna set my crease with vanilla cream, just so this part of my eye is not as sticky. I will leave the lid part sticky just so it can hold on to the foil shades better. There's a lot of kickback in the pan. It doesn't apply powdery on the lid, so I'll deal with it. Caramel blends beautifully. I felt that it was very soft, but it stayed on the lid. It didn't blend out into nothing. Now a cold brew to the outer inner corners and crease, basically the whole lid. I just applied this shade 2 days ago to my lower lash line, and I really loved how it performed. I haven't yet applied this eyeshadow to my lids. I love the color payoff so far, and the fact that it's not blending away, and there's no fallout considering how powdery kickbacky it is in the pan. It's nice to know that if you tap off the brush before applying, that you could eliminate that risk. Taking a little more caramel to blend out these edges. Now that we have our lids done, I'll then go into the lower lash line to shape this V further. Using Wayne Goss's pencil brush first to smoke out the lower lash line with Cold Brew. With 04, I'm going to further blow out this lower lash line, still with Cold Brew. The fact that this point makes shaping the outside of my shadow effortless is like a reason why I haven't touched my other brushes. Especially for this side, which you know I have so many problems with. The softness of the brush, the shape of it just makes for a seamless blend. Blending and shaping is seamless. With his 06, I'm now going to use caramel. Maybe a little bit of caramel and hazelnut to just further blow out the lash line. For the center of the lid, I'll use Creme Brulee, which is, I believe, the star shade of this palette. Using my 07, give it a little spritz. Just punch that to the center of Cold Brew. I think this is such a beautiful shade. I mean, it's not like the first ever rose gold shade. The impact it has, the shine, and just the color of it, I think works well with not only these shades in this palette, but several others that you might have in your collection. Taking my 06 again to feather the edges between Creme Brulee and Cold Brew. Taking my 04 again to further blend out the crease. I cleaned off my 05 brush and now we'll apply Creme Brulee to the center of my lower lash line. Taking a touch of Macchiato, it is a very brightening shade, and with the same small shader that I applied Creme Brulee with, the number 7, a touch of that just to the, let me see where I want to put this. I'm going to take it to the very top to further carve out that space. Also taking it just to the base of the lash line, just a touch, because I think it adds a nice pop of shine on those areas. Further blending out the top. I'm going to finish this off, curl the lashes. Not too bad. I really love how the eye look turned out. I think the turquoise blended fairly well, but it also could be how incredible Wayne's brushes are. And please keep in mind, these are very powdery in the pan, and if you choose to use any of these shades on your face, just make sure you fan it or just gently blow on it to get the other colors away from the pan so they don't cross-contaminate shades. Now with Vanilla Cream, under eye area for some brightening. To the forehead. That added a nice touch of brightness. Also a nice alternative to whisk away any excess loose powder that you left there for baking. I want to use one of these brown shades for like a bronzer. I'm not too sure which, because this could be a nice bronzing shade, but I'm not sure if that will be too warm. I'm just gonna go for it. You know what? Whatever. Hazelnut with 02. I'm gonna tap and just apply that. Not bad. It's very warm. It's a very warm shade. Not sure if this will be my first choice to apply as a bronzing shade, but a little too much. And I think I'm going to take Pumpkin Spice as like an all over blush kind of situation. I'm taking my Too Cool for School artist brush, which is tapered, and I feel will kind of give a little more diffused application. Again, with pumpkin spice. That's nice. I feel like I applied a little too much, but I'm going to diffuse these shades out with my fluffy It's My Ray Ray brush. I'm going to take a little bit of Patrick's powder actually and just buff that all over the face to soften pumpkin spice and hazelnut. What do we think, friends? I like pumpkin spice as like a blusher, bronzer in combination with hazelnuts, and I'm not sure if mocha can be considered an alternate contour shade for those who are deeper in skin tone, more neutral part of the spectrum. It could be a nice contour shade in that department. I think I'm going to apply, let's see, Macchiato as like a highlight shade. I'm going to take the BH Is My Ray Ray collab brush in number 4 in with a little bit of Macchiato. Out of curiosity, let's see. Oh, that's some nice shine, I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely a little cooler than I usually apply to my cheekbones. I tend to lean more towards golden, just warmer types of shades. But if I'm in an emergency and I need to add a highlighter, again, just gonna buff that out. I'll also take Macchiato to the inner corner. I've been really loving applying my inner corner highlight with the pencil brush. I don't need to wet it. It's a really great shade, dry and wet. And now for spritz for the powder melting. I'm gonna press that in so all the powders melt into the skin. I'll apply some lipstick and I'll be right back. And we're all done, friends. Again, I have provided timestamps so you can skip over to whatever portion of the video you would like. The shades themselves are very creamy in consistency. They have a lot of kickback in the pans, but they don't have that same powdery kickback nature when blending onto your lid, and there was no fallout, which I was blown away since I was applying this shade for the first time on my lid, that it did not drop to my under eye area, which typically I found with those darker matte teal shades that can happen on occasion. I did mention that I applied shadows from the Latte palette yesterday and the day before, and I'm happy to report not only was the blendability amazing and effortless, but I also found the longevity of these shadows to be incredible. I think on Wednesday I might have had these shades on for around 6 hours, and the matte stayed on well. The Creme Brulee shade, which I applied that day, stayed on well. It remained bright throughout the day and still had that shine and glitz. Yesterday I applied a double shot as my overall purple crease shade, and I'll post a picture up here. I actually will post a picture of the first time I applied this palette, where I applied the turquoise to my lower lash line, and I loved how it turned out. It was a really nice smoky eye, and again, it stayed saturated and rich looking throughout the day. I think Double Shot is a great shade. I found that it blended well, but also didn't blend out to nothing. It stayed on the lid. It still looked purple. It might have faded a touch, and I was out for a while. I think yesterday might have been a 12-hour day for me, and I felt that although the purple faded a little bit, it still looked like purple, and it still gave off that soft smoky purple look that I started with at the beginning of my day. I was really blown away as to how long the shadow stayed on my lid, and also I applied this shade yesterday to the center, and it looked beautiful throughout the day. It didn't fade, it didn't break apart and just left behind sparkles and just bits of shimmer. It stayed on the lid and intact, and I really love, I was happy to discover that. And overall, with today applying the warmer shades to my complexion, I was pleased with how well they blended, and it looked like it might have been too warm to apply as bronzer or blush, but I think pumpkin spice a really fun blush color, and I'm not as tan now, but I'm curious to see how it will fare off against tanner skin when we go into the warmer months. And I appreciate these punches of colors. I know this palette was compared to Kathleen Light's Dream Street collaboration with ColourPop Cosmetics. I have Dream Street. I found that dark chocolate brown shade did not blend well on my lid. I wanted to use it as a defining shade, but I found when blending it out over the other transition shades in that palette, it just kind of, it blended a little patchy, and I just thought, well, you know, I'll use that color on its own. I thought Mocha was an exceptional deepening color. You could build up the saturation. It wouldn't just blend out to anything or wouldn't appear patchy. It deepened the double shot shade very well, as in addition to Pumpkin Spice and Hazelnut, which I use as my transition shades on Wednesday. I enjoyed using this palette. I wanted to try it on for a few days to just give you guys a report on, again, how long it stays, how well it lasts throughout the day, if the mattes and foils faded, and if they didn't, how well the matte stayed true to color after 8 hours or so. And I felt I was able to experience that and find out those answers when I just took those days to play with the palette and report back. Would I recommend this palette? Absolutely. Especially if you don't have eyeshadow and you're just starting out and want to buy a palette with versatile shades that, again, you can use on your eyes and your face. I know it might be limited for those with deeper skin tones. Let me know down below if you have a deeper skin tone and you have the Latte palette, how you fared against these warmer shades for complexion powders. In comparison to Laura Lee's palette, which I do not have and I felt not the need to get it, I definitely feel that the Latte palette is a lot more versatile in terms of, even though the pans are big and people feel that why are they so big, it's just a waste of space. Well, I feel it's helpful, especially if these shades, the color that they are, can be used on your face, and the bigger pans just allow for a better application if using a bigger brush as opposed to a smaller eyeshadow one. I'm happy I purchased it. I will continue using it, as well as using it in conjunction with my other eyeshadow singles, palettes, and everything I have in my eyeshadow collection. I understand for it being a new brand that people felt a certain type of way. How dare she come out with the palette as $45, the same price as Anastasia or another brand that's been on the market for years now. I understand, and I get that people are looking to newer brands to keep it in the USA and to not get stuff made in China, and because people feel a certain way about the ingredients, regulations, and standards that they have in China. I'm not sure because of that manufacturing choice that bumped up the price of the palette overall. Let me know down below. Of course, we'll talk about it. As far as I'm concerned, I love the Latte palette. I enjoyed using it and I will continue to do so. Please let me know your thoughts down below. Quickly go through the swatches so you can see the shades on my skin tone. Hazelnut, Caramel, sorry old swatch, Vanilla Cream, Mocha, really nice deepening shade, Pumpkin Spice, Espresso. I applied this yesterday, you guys, that shit is fire. Macchiato, Creme Brulee, so pretty. Cold Brew, and Double Shot. Thank you friends so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, tell your friends about it. I will appreciate the love. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would love to see you again. And until then, I'll see you again next time with another review, chit chat tutorial, get ready with me, or whatever. Thank you again, and I'll see you again soon.